really exciting about our next speaker. Not only has he had, he's had a little, he started, our next speaker is the CMO of New Relic, Robson Grieve. He started his career as a founder himself, starting an ad agency, and then parlayed that into running marketing at two of the fastest growing businesses over the last decade, including Concur, which was sold to SAP for more than $8 billion. And now he is the head of marketing, or CMO, at New Relic, which recently IPO'd and has more than a $5 billion market cap. And his big message that he wants to share with you today is really about how you can run a better, healthier, more efficient marketing operation when you have a more authentic, customer-driven relationship with the people that the community and people that you're selling to. So with that, I would like to introduce Robson. Come on board.
Thank you. Hopefully you're not afraid of that introduction that I'm going to talk about efficiency for the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I will warn you that I've had coffee and dessert this morning. Those Catalan cream, they look too good, so I went straight to dessert. So I've had a lot of sugar and a lot of caffeine. And I'm up here talking about a topic that I'm pretty fired up about. I have been to Vancouver many times before. I'm born and raised in Canada. This is actually a picture of my grandfather's farm equipment dealership, which is in a small town, was in a small town called Fenelon Falls, Ontario. Does anybody know where that is? We got, okay, at least one person. It's not even close to Toronto. It's not a suburb, it's not even an exurb, it's way out there. My name is on a street around here. It's a family name, and the story in the family was that John Robson, who moved out here, was the first of our family to go west. And it took me a few years after that. I moved out in 1994. When he started this farm equipment dealership, he had just moved back from Winnipeg. It turns out Fenelon Falls is warmer than Winnipeg. Not much, you can tell by this picture. When he moved back, he was faced with building this business in a really different climate. A time that topics like that we talk about today, about rocket ships and how fast you can get to 500 million, all these things, these are crazy ideas. You were looking for ways to reduce your risk, to create steady long-term relationships with customers, to build a local base. All these were just way different times. And I feel super fortunate to be able to have gone through this different journey through Concur and through New Relic. Some of you will do an expense report on Concur when you go home from this conference tonight. And that was a phenomenal company. I joined them when we were about 200 million in revenue, and when we sold a few years later, it was close to 800. And a really incredible journey of a team and a brand and a go-to-market process that was really fascinating. And then the last few years, I've had the chance to go through a similar kind of experience at New Relic. We were about 180 when I started there, and we've just raised our guidance a couple days ago for this year to 460. So we're growing fast. And the way that you do that, I think, is really, it's personal to you, it's personal to your company, and your approach has to be really finely tuned in. And that's what I want to talk about. I want to share with you my approach. I am surprised that the one growth symbol that has not been brought up yet today is the hockey stick. We're right beside where the Canucks play, and no one's talked about the hockey stick yet. The hockey stick moment is when you bend that curve, right? When you cease to grow at the rate that you're at, and all of a sudden physics changes, and you're going up way, way faster than you were before. And it becomes this self-sustaining cycle. It becomes this great moment in your company's history where, oh my God, we're on fire, we're gonna do this is great. It's really hard to find that hockey stick. And I know this having been through it a couple of times, and I think there's some traps that we fall into. And so I want to talk first about the traps. When we get in a rush to grow, we start looking at what levers we can pull. And as founders and as executives, maybe we don't necessarily understand everything going on around our company. As marketing leaders, we sometimes get pressured into situations where we don't know what to do. And so we try things and sometimes fail. And those failures, I think, are found in two big areas. The first one is your inbox. Everybody's got one of these, right? Okay, so I get in on Monday morning and I open up my inbox and it's full of email from sales reps, usually, right? Here's my favorite one on Monday morning. Can I buy you drinks? The best part about this is this person's been trying to get a hold of me for a while. I haven't called them back. They haven't really told me anything about what they do or what company they work for that's in any detailed way that I can use. So I picture myself calling home and saying, hey, honey, I know it's early in the week. I just want to let you know I'm not going to be home for dinner or to pick up the kids on Thursday because I'm going to have drinks. She'll go, with who? Oh, a guy. He emailed me. What does he do? I don't really know, actually. See, some sales rep in your company might be doing this right now. You've got to make sure that you're in touch with the communications, the real reasons why they're reaching out to customers, right? There's all kinds of crazy, stupid pet tricks that where they'll put your name in a video and then send you the video as if I've never seen my name before. This is my favorite because it's there's like a whole MarTech industry where you can buy my name from somebody, or you can buy all of my employees' names from somebody, and yet I'm going to fill out your CRM for you. This kind of behavior is not from sales reps who have bad intentions. It's from sales reps who are under a ton of pressure to deliver. And you, as a marketer, and your marketing team in your company, if you're a CEO, has got to do better for them. You owe them more than these kinds of tactics. Here's the other thing that happens. There's this lead math trap. Somebody in your company has come up to you and said, I can buy a lead for X, a lead acquisition costs X, and we need Y of them, and that will deliver us our growth, right? And sooner or later, that math goes totally haywire. Because at $460 million in revenue, where we are today, if I had to pay the same price per lead that we paid a year or two ago, we'd be out of business. We'd be upside down completely. This math is an absolute bummer, and here's what this math does. Remember our old friend, the hockey stick? If you're going to do it that way in the long term, you're just going to have another hockey stick. So you'll have two hockey sticks. And sooner or later, your investors will get sick of that, and so you got to do something about it, right? And it's not that this will happen today. It's not like this is going on right now. But you'll be rumbling down the road, and you'll find this moment where all of a sudden this system doesn't work anymore, right? You've got to make a change. You have to flip the physics of it. You have to change the way that you approach the problem. And so that's really the thing that I want to spend the next few minutes on is you got to increase your effectiveness. You got to decrease your costs, and you got to do that constantly on an ongoing basis. And there's a couple of really great ways to do that. There we go, it's a stick of butter. Why does he have a stick of butter on the screen? Like so many things in the world, the properties of a product, the functionality of a product, the category it exists in is useless to a customer. It's not the reason they go to find it. And Clayton Christensen, if you've read Jobs to be Done, had this great quote when he was consulting for a company that was making a butter substitute, that nobody goes to the store to buy something from the yellow fats category. They go to hire a product to do a job. I'm going to make some cookies. I have toast and I hate it when it's dry. I'm going to put it on toast. Although it makes my popcorn taste great, right? These are reasons why people hire that product. And so this is the number one thing you have to do in marketing. You've got to know what job you do for your customers. You've got to know what they're hiring you for. That is absolutely price of admission stuff, and it's a value system that you can build in your whole company. Jobs to be Done is a great framework. I'd recommend it. Amazon does working backwards. It's another awesome way to look at this problem. It's a way for you to take the customer and the thing that they're trying to do and put it at the center of your company. So your product managers, your product marketing, your engineers are all working on solving that important problem so they can get hired to do it. Okay, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Do you remember this book? Had this read to you many, many times, so you're going to know the punchline of this one. Like so many things in life, Goldilocks was, so first off, I don't think that the story really travels very well through time. There's a little girl who wanders through the woods who just goes into a house and starts trying stuff out. But she tries a chair, and she's hungry, so she looks at the bowls of porridge. And then she's tired, so she's going to get in bed. What thing is she optimizing for? Is she trying to find the biggest thing? She's trying to find something that's just right. She's trying to find something that's just right. And this is the conversation that is not going on in marketing departments and with CEOs all over the tech industry and all over growth companies. You have got to develop a culture around your marketing budget where you're looking for what's just right. And you'll know that this is happening when your budget meetings with the marketing director or your marketing VP are not about how much money you're going to give them, and they're sitting there being defensive, trying to tell you, no, it's okay, this money's going in a good place. But when they're talking to you about the things that they're going to do for free, or for a low dollar value, or for a low cost. And they're going to do that because they've found that thinking small when it comes to money is a really powerful thing. And it's sometimes in venture-backed companies and high-growth stages, you can get away with stuff. You can make compromises, you can buy big things, you can spend lots of money on lead acquisition, but sooner or later, you got to change your tack, and you've got to grow efficiently, and that's going to mean that you got to make choices. So when you put pressure on the budget, you force choice. You force prioritization, but ultimately you force people to solve an old problem a new way. And that really, money is a great flashpoint between a head of marketing and a CEO as you think about how you grow your company. And it's easy for me to say in some ways because of the ways, the size companies I'm at and the kind of budgets that I deal with. But I'm going to show you some stats later that will show you how we've really embraced this concept at New Relic, especially to try to grow in a really efficient way. Now here's a picture of a race car. But it's not a picture of a race car. It's a picture of 20 people trying to help a race car driver accomplish a task, okay? You got some people who are going to fill up the gas. You got some people who are going to change the tires. You got somebody who's holding a sign telling them what's going to happen next. There's all these people are helping that race car driver do the task that he's been assigned within this organization, right? Go race the car. You need lots of people to help you. And this is what you do for your customers. Your customers and your marketing department is the center of this. Your customer is sitting in the cockpit of that race car. They are facing tons of competition that goes super fast. They have to do something about their most important problems. Sometimes they have to do it at their convenience. Sometimes they do it at, when they're being strategic. Other times they got to do it when they're in trouble and they got to fix something and there's something going wrong and they need a solution. And your job as a marketer is not to sell at them, to get them to buy your stuff. It's to help them accomplish their goal. And our realization of this at New Relic, I think, is the single biggest leverage point we've put into our budget. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. But the complexity in this is real, okay? So you add the word funny to almost anything, and Google will give you something worthwhile. This is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, funny. Search tips for your next presentation. Maslow's hierarchy of needs is very purposeful to think about this, because we don't skip to self-actualization. We got to do a bunch of other stuff first. And so if you're thinking about thought leadership, we have to do more thought leadership, right? Has anybody had that conversation around your company? I've got to do more thought leadership, okay? You got to start with the basics first. You got to build a relationship with people. You have to get the foundation of a conversation in order to have the right to skip up to the top levels of this pyramid, right? Because I'm down here just trying to get my Wi-Fi to work, and you're up here talking to me about thought leadership? You got to get to where I am. And that, to me, is a really important thing for you to think about, and it kind of ties all these concepts together. How do people that are buying your product, how do they work? What are they trying to do, and how can you help them? At New Relic, we have a really simple thought process about this, and I'll tell you, 85% of our open pipeline comes from things that we do for free. It's just content. We've taken this attitude that we're going to turn our company inside out. If our support team has a ticket that they've solved, we want to turn that into a blog post. If our docs team has an explanation of how something works, we want to publish that on the public site. We want to draw as much attention to everything we know so it can help you out. And that's really that basic layer of real-time problem solving. If it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you're trying to fix something, we want to help you out with that right now. We want to make it as easy as possible, so the next time you have another problem, you'll call us. You'll check in with us. And then understanding market landscapes. We make big decisions. We can help you weigh them out. You think about that. And then up at the top level of that pyramid is, I've got some big transformation project. I'm going all in on digital. And it's only by doing those other things that we get the right to have that dialogue with people. And I think that's a really important thing. We do this fundamentally for free. So we took this old paid lead model where we were buying tons and tons of advertising on Twitter and other places like that, and we've replaced it pretty much 100% with free content. because we do things that are meaningful and helpful. And here's what that does. The blue line is our revenues. Over the past 4 years, we've been on a really hot growth path, and I think we feel very fortunate to have had the circumstances that we've had. But the yellow line is way more important than that from my perspective, because the one line that up and to the right doesn't work for from your CFO's perspective is the budget, marketing budget. They want that thing going down all the time, and we've been able to, through this period where our growth has accelerated, by using these concepts, we've been able to take that budget and squish it down over and over and over again. So that is a coffee and dessert-fueled tour through a way for you to think about marketing at scale. And scale is, it's an awesome process to go through. Having been through it a couple of times, it is one of the most fun things you can do. It's going to test you not just in how you think about your own job, but in how you think about how all the parts of your company work together. And I am in many ways jealous of the journey that you're all on right now. And I can't wait to hear the stories of all your companies coming out of this event. So thank you.
I need some traction. You need some traction. Let's get some traction.